Fox News alert, new details breaking this past hour in the apparently secret recordings of discussions at Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's campaign headquarters in Kentucky. The FBI, as you now know, is involved in this, and we have breaking news on this situation. A member of the Democratic Party of Jefferson County, Kentucky, that's where Mr. McConnell's headquarters are located, in Louisville, just spoke to us live on the air, telling us that members of a liberal activist group, a PAC, bragged to him that they had recorded Senator McConnell and others on the topics in question. Here is some of that telephone interview we just conducted. What did they tell you about this recording?
Well, they happen to be friends of mine, or were friends of mine, I guess. But they mentioned that they were there, just like I told WFPL here locally, that they were there. I don't know why they were at the grand opening of his campaign office, but they were there after the event had ended, and were in the hallway, and they overheard the conversation going on. Which I mean, I know it doesn't. To me, it was an extremely tacky conversation. They said very tasteless things that the McConnell campaign did, but it was a private conversation nonetheless. And when I guess they heard all the tasteless and offensive and tacky things that the McConnell campaign was discussing, they decided to record it. And they told me about that later that day, and either later that day or the next day. I don't really remember because it was over a couple months ago. But they told me about it, and I didn't think anything of it. I didn't really, I didn't think that it was anything other than some people who were trying to who are not affiliated with the local party or the state party or any, they're trying to do something totally separate, and, they just mentioned that they were doing this and they got all excited about it. So,
now, just to clear the record up, you're talking about a man named Sean Riley and a man named Curtis Morrison. That's what you told WFPL?
That is what I told WFPL.
And they founded this super PAC. As I understand, it's a super PAC, Progress Kentucky?
Yes, ma'am. Sean was actually the founder of it. But, that was, yes, ma'am, that's true.
Okay, and so what you're telling me is they directly admitted to you that they tape recorded Senator McConnell and his campaign aides in those campaign headquarters.
They told me they were there. They told me they were in the hallway. They have a recording, so you can draw your own conclusions.
Joining me now by phone with reaction is Jessie Benton, Senator McConnell's campaign manager. Listen, you're a campaign manager. You've been through politics. You know it's played dirty sometimes. Is this unusually dirty? I mean, have you ever seen anything like this, Jessie?
I've never seen anything like this in my 15 years doing this professionally. I think you have to again go back to some of the Nixonian tactics in the 1970s. No, look, there's a line that we have to draw here. Yeah, sure, we compete hard, and we'll work very, very hard to win. But there's just a line you have to draw. If not even ethically, where I draw the line, where Senator McConnell draws the line, we have an ethical line we draw. But the law clearly draws a line. And
if there was no one in the room consented to this, then a crime was committed. I can't let you go. I want to ask you about the substance of the tapes, which I know the McConnell campaign doesn't think is the issue. But the biggest issue that has arisen out of the tapes is the negative things that were said about Ashley Judd and her mental health. And you are on there discussing the plan to go after her as having attempted suicide in the past, as having spent some time institutionalized for various mental health problems. And some have said that's misogynistic. It crosses a line. It shows, speaking of the dirtiness of politics, Senator McConnell and his team's willingness to go there. Your reaction?
Well, I just don't think so, Megan. And so many liberal pundits have even agreed that there's nothing out of bounds in these tapes. What we were discussing was not a strategy. We were just discussing simply what was out there in the public record. And Megan, these reports and accounts were things that she wrote about in her own autobiography. These are things that she brought into the public record. We didn't find these on some dumpster dive. We weren't dragging skeletons out of her closet. She wrote openly about this, gave speeches on this, gave a book tour about this book that she penned herself that talked about these things. And there's a big difference, too, Megan, between what you discuss in private and what you use publicly. Publicly, we were very careful to be respectful to Ashley Judd, and we would have ran a comprehensive campaign, but I think to try to to try to throw negative smears at us because we were simply having a meeting about publicly available information. It just doesn't hold any water.
And quickly, before I let you go, you confirmed the FBI has been pulling video surveillance footage. Is there a video camera outside of this second-floor conference room where you had this meeting in question?
No, not our second-floor conference room, but the secure lobby on the first floor. To be able to get up, you need to take an elevator, and you have to pass in front of 4 different security cameras to do so.
Well, there you go. So if it was these two guys, the FBI is going to figure that out. Jessie Benton, thank you very much for being here, sir.
Thank you, Megan. It's a real pleasure.
All the best.